That's what I call it, a pre-moving orientation about the place you're moving to. You know the things to look out for, especially if the estate agent is really good. You know the things to look out for, you know the things to watch, you know, when you're moving into that location. Now the fourth thing is what I'll call type of city. Now, if at the beginning I mentioned that Abuja is a quite volatile city, right, in terms of mobility. Now, what that means is there's a lot of migration into Abuja compared to the rate of emigration out of Abuja. I know English. So what that means is the number of people that move into Abuja are more than the number of people that leave Abuja, right? So when you have a place like that, a location like that, you would realize that cities will spring up faster. Locations, estates, and buildings will just be popping up. This place that was a bush like 3-4 years ago is turning into an estate, like a very beautiful, smart estate, right? So the type of city is also a factor to consider, meaning where you are right now, especially if you live in a place like Abuja, you should bear in mind that wherever you are right now, you might not be there like in 1 year, in a year's time, like maybe by this time next year. If you're in a place now, by this time next year, you probably might not be there for a number of reasons. Let me list it. Because of the type of city. Now, one, your landlord might just come and decide that, oh, he wants to renovate the house, and because he's renovating the house, the rent is going to double. That's one. Number two, your job might require you to travel all of a sudden. You might need to move. You might need to move out of Abuja, and you really might not be coming back like anytime soon. So you obviously have to move. Or you might need to move from one location to another. Maybe your job, your company sends you to another branch, you know, and then you have to, of course, it's going to be more cost effective for you to move. You would have to move. Another reason is age. Well, age is also an important factor, because if you're in the category of people that are upwardly mobile, what that means is they are growing in all spheres of their lives, right? So in age, they are growing, they're advancing in academics, they're advancing in profession, they're advancing in relationships. So what I mean is, if you're 20 right now, of course, you to be expected that you're upwardly mobile. So you might not be where you are living right now in the next 3 years, right? So you're obviously going to want to move. That's a factor you should consider when choosing an apartment. Now, it would not be a very sensible move for a 21-year-old female to get a 3-bedroom flat that is single, to get a 3-bedroom flat in a place like Maitama in Abuja. Now, the factors you should consider: 21-year-old age, she's upwardly mobile. She's single, so it means that she might get married very soon to someone who doesn't even stay in Abuja, right? Maitama is considered to be one of the expensive locations in Abuja, so it's also not cost effective for her. And if she's living alone, right? And a 3-bedroom flat, unless she has the wardrobe space of 3 companies, she really might not use all 3 rooms, right? So those are the factors to consider whenever you're choosing an apartment. A very smart move for this 21-year-old lady in particular would be to probably have roommates, right? Or move to another location that is more cost effective. Another thing I should mention now is, apart from price of apartment, cost is also important. Now, cost is different from price, right? So I just said cost effective. You must have heard me say cost effective, cost effective, cost effective. Now, what that means is there are some people that would live in houses in Maitama, right? And would enjoy the place, and it will be more cost effective, despite the fact that Maitama is considered to be expensive in Abuja, an expensive location in Abuja, compared to someone who stays in a place like Lugbe, works in Maraba, right? Maraba is an outskirts city of Abuja that is between Nasarawa State and Abuja. Now, compared to someone that lives in Lugbe, works in Maraba, right? Now, when it comes to cost, there are certain things you should consider. One, proximity to work, proximity to church is a very important factor, especially in a volatile city like Abuja. Now, what that means is, a city that is highly volatile in Abuja, prices would tend to fluctuate faster than other places, right? So the cost of transportation would basically change faster in Abuja than in a place like, let me use a place like Ogun State, right? So the cost of transportation is something to consider. Another thing is the cost of food and foodstuffs, right? So a market in okay, so we're using the case study of a 21-year-old in Maitama, right? So a market in Maitama would obviously be quite expensive compared to a market in Mararaba. Now, but the thing is, the distance between the person that stays in Lugbe going to the market in Mararaba is also something to consider. So that's why cost is very important. It might not look like it is the sensible move to make to pick a house or to move to an apartment in Maitama. But when you think of the fact that it's lesser, you burn lesser fuel, the cost of transportation is lesser, and then you are beating traffic, because there's also that part where you have to think of the mental cost. Nigeria is already a stressful place mentally. We're spending a lot mentally. So you cannot now stress yourself on the road. The beautiful part about Abuja, a city like Abuja, is you rarely encounter traffic compared to Lagos. Compared to a city like Lagos. But there are still some cities within Abuja that are densely populated compared to other cities, right? Places like Lugbe, Gwarimpa, Kubwa would tend to experience traffic towards the evening because people that went to work are just coming back home. So there would be a lot of traffic around that area. But in a place like Maitama, Maitama is more workplace than a residential area. So people are leaving Maitama than going to Maitama in the evening. So you will not experience a lot of traffic around that area. That's another thing to consider. So when it comes to cost is both physical, mental, at some point emotional. Because if you spend a lot of time in traffic, you're not mentally ready for work sometimes. Like, you are literally spent resuming work. And then that can also affect your emotions and then how you handle your day. So it's a lot of things to consider when it comes to cost in choosing an apartment in a volatile city like Abuja. Now, I used to live in Ogun State, right? And Ogun State is a very chill place, you know, like there's no stress. No stress at all, you know. Things are cheap, prices of food stuff cheap, cost of transportation cheap, you know, even places to go hang out cheap, quite cheap actually, you know. Compared to Abuja, it was a very rude shock for me moving into Abuja. And then one thing I noticed, right, which is a reason why I wanted to talk about this. The first 2 years that I moved to Abuja, I realized that in my house fellowship in the church I used to attend, it's called Care Group. In my Care Group, people, at least 2 people moved out of the Care Group in 4 months. At least 2 people. And so I asked, I was like, what is going on? And then they were like, it's the Abuja factor. So that was the first time I was exposed to the Abuja factor. Now, what that means is you would tend to see that the numbers tend to dwindle, especially when it comes to apartments. So people are moving out of an apartment faster than people move in, depending on size and location. So I actually just wanted to bring that up because, one, we're nearing the end of the year 2021. 2, the economy is not smiling. So there are things you might really want to consider when you're going to change apartments or if you're going to renew your rent. There are things to consider. And then it's towards the end of the year. You should start planning if you're to renew your rent between now and the next first quarter of 2022. I can't believe that I'm saying 2022 already. Wow. Whereas some people are already in 2023, by the way. It's time to start planning. If you cannot renew, if you don't want to renew rent in where you're staying and you want to move, you really should watch this video. And then there are things you really should consider. Now, I need to say this again and again and again. These rules are not set in stone. So some of you might not experience some of the things that I have talked about in this video. A number of you would have experienced it. Trust me, a number of you would have experienced it. But all in all, I just decided to put out this video there so that you already have a mental picture of the apartment you want to move to if you are moving. I really want to know your opinion on this video. I want to know what you think. If you have experienced the Abuja, now you don't even have to be in Abuja to experience what is called the Abuja factor. If you in places like Port Harcourt, Lagos, and other cities that are considered expensive in Nigeria, if you have experienced what is called this factor in quotes, I want to hear your opinion. If you have any other different opinion or something to add or something to take away from this video, I also want to see it. Thank you guys. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. If you really enjoyed this video, please share. This video was quite serious compared to what we normally talk about. That's why I said a lot of English. But please share this video if you really enjoyed it. Until the next time you see this beautiful face, never forget that you've come this far, which is something worthy to celebrate. So celebrate you where you are right now, and you deserve to be happy about that. I love you guys. Bye.